A new book titled Modi's Mission, authored by renowned lawyer and writer Burgess Desai, will be released on Friday in Mumbai by Maharashtra Governor Acharya Devvrat and Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. The book traces Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inspiring journey from a humble childhood in Vadnagar to his emergence as the nation's leader. Take a look.
Author Burgess Desai describes Modi's mission not as a biography, but as a story of an idea, the idea of national resurgence and self-reliance. The book explores the formative experiences from Modi's early years that shaped his views on governance, leadership, and social transformation. It also reflects on how the Prime Minister, despite facing challenges and criticism, rose as an instrument of national awakening.
It is to explain his personal spiritual journey, the mindset which evolved during extremely hard conditions during his childhood, which still people do not know. How he left home permanently at 17, his sadhana and siddhi during those 2.5 years when he was in the Himalayas and in the northern parts of the country, and all the spiritual experiences he had. And then how he has implemented this mindset, this idea of what motivates him is service. It has been a continuous story of service and sacrifice.
The author examines major policy milestones, including the formalization of India's economy, the abrogation of Article 370, and the government's push for transparent and result oriented governance. Desai also discusses what he calls the false narratives spread by a section of the intellectual class attempting to discredit Modi's leadership.
The palpably false narratives which have been spun by a section of the intellectual elite, the Western media, and some of our left leaning historians, who obviously cannot assail his impeccable integrity and his administrative acumen and his relentless hard work and all. He is a transformative leader, and one day he will be judged on par. The Mahatma will be remembered for 1947, and when Viksit Bharat happens, Modi will be remembered for 2047.
A Mumbai based lawyer and a former journalist, Burgess Desai brings his sharp analytical lens to present Modi's mission as an engaging account of the Prime Minister's methodical approach towards strengthening India's civilizational identity and building an efficient welfare state. Shama Mishra's report from Mumbai for DD India.
The book, Modi's Mission, has been authored by renowned lawyer and writer Burgess Desai, who spoke exclusively to our correspondent Shama Mishra. Take a look.
Noted lawyer and acclaimed author Burgess Desai is with us, and he has written yet another book on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the first one on Prime Minister, but yes, he has been writing earlier as well, and the book is called Modi's Mission. Sir, welcome to DD India. We have seen several other books on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What inspired you to write on Prime Minister, and how is this book different from the already existing ones?
So this book is not another biography of the Prime Minister, nor is it about his politics or election campaigns or any of his present-day political opponents. As a matter of fact, none of them are even mentioned in the book. It is motivated by two reasons. Firstly, that as we are in the midst of a lot of events happening in the midst of history, we are unable to fully appreciate what position Narendra Modi will ultimately hold in the history of modern India. And secondly, we also underestimate the sheer enormity of the task he has done over 24 years of elective public office which he has held. 13 years as Gujarat CM and 11 years as PM, where he puts in 16 hours a day and with hardly 4.5 hours of sleep, and flits from subject to subject, affecting every aspect of national life. So it is to explain his personal spiritual journey, the mindset which evolved during extremely hard conditions during his childhood, which still people do not know. How he left home permanently at 17, his sadhana and siddhi during those 2.5 years when he was in the Himalayas and in the northern parts of the country, and all the spiritual experiences he had. And then how he has implemented this mindset, this idea of what motivates him is service. it has been a continuous story of service and sacrifice for all these years. Because even before elective public office, for 30 years he was a pracharak and a BJP functionary, where again he put on this same 24/7 service. So it is to explain how he has been a transformative agent, one who has uplifted the collective consciousness of Indians beyond party political lines. And then it has been analyzed, the way he transformed Gujarat, the challenges he faced, and then things like how 370 came to be abrogated. And I have also traced the history of Kashmir and all these other places from 1948 onwards, without the usual whitewash which is put on it by some of our historians. He's dealing with the judiciary, he's dealing with all the governance achievements which he has made in making India the fastest growing large economy, digitalization of the economy, direct benefit transfer, the whole welfare state. We are unable to appreciate the staggering welfare state which is evolving every day. But more importantly, the second reason behind writing this book is that whilst I was researching for this book, I realized the palpably false narratives which have been spun by a section of the intellectual elite, the Western media and some of our left-leaning historians, who obviously cannot assail his impeccable integrity and his administrative acumen and his relentless hard work and all. So they raise this question of secularism. And what they mean by secularism, by whether it is appeasement or whether it is sterilization or negation of history, etc. So it has been a candid analysis, and I belong to a minority community. I'm not a Hindu. And I'm almost a near retired lawyer with no axe to grind. So I felt that somebody should speak out and understand that he's a transformative leader, and one day he will be judged on par. The Mahatma will be remembered for 1947, and when Viksit Bharat happens, Modi will be remembered for 2047.
Also, you mentioned about a part where the falsehood narrative which is being spread by the India's intellect. How do you address this particular point in this book, and how do you want the readers to actually understand this aspect?
So subject-wise and event-wise, I have analyzed the various narratives. What is the evidence on record? What are the facts? And how all this has transpired for a dispassionate reader, as I said, across party lines, to understand and note the sheer intellectual dishonesty of a section of the elite and also some of our left-leaning historians who have always tried to put a spin on it. And instead of being, I wouldn't use the word grateful, but instead of appreciating what a transformative change he has brought about in the country, which will be appreciated maybe a few years later when we'll be more dispassionate about it. And I do believe that 50 years later, Narendra Modi will be judged in he will be regarded as iconic, and he'll be judged very differently.
Okay. So he'll be judged differently, and obviously this is with the mind, with the fact that you want the young readers also to read what is actually going on, what he's doing for the nation. For young readers and even the people who are elder, how do you see those, especially with having different political views, to read to read your book and to understand what is actually being done by a Prime Minister?
So as I said, the book is not about politics. Not even a single political opponent is even mentioned by name. So the whole idea is to show his governance of what he has achieved in various aspects of life, which cuts across party lines. So if somebody is really dispassionate, he may or may not be a voter of the BJP, or he may not be voting for the Prime Minister. But yet, here is an iconic leader who has done things for the country. And you may not agree with his entire philosophy or political philosophy or the manner in which his party thinks. You cannot fail to appreciate what a person has done if you are truly dispassionate.
Thank you very much for talking to us. So that was Burgess Desai, who has written the book on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Modi's mission, and we will have that copy soon and understand what actually has been written in that book. With camera person Kapil Maske, this is Shama Mishra for ED India, Mumbai.